Hey, coin collectors, history buffs, and curious minds. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that has shocked the world by being worth a staggering $109 million. Yes, you heard that right, one penny. But before you check your pockets, let's take a journey through the history and value of the 1982 1-cent coin. To understand why this particular penny is so valuable, let's take a step back and look at the history of the US 1-cent coin. The penny, officially known as the cent, has been in circulation since the late 1700s. Throughout the years, its design and composition have changed several times. But in 1982, something very unique happened. In 1982, the US Mint made a significant change to the composition of the penny. Prior to that, pennies were made mostly of copper, but with rising copper prices, the Mint started producing pennies made of a copper-plated zinc core. This change wasn't just a random decision, it was driven by economics and the rising costs of raw materials. But this switch led to a crucial moment in history that no one expected. Here's the thing, not all 1982 pennies are the same. In fact, there were two major variations in the 1982 penny year. Some pennies were struck with the older, copper-based alloy, while others were made with the new zinc core. So, how can you tell the difference? Well, it's actually quite simple. The copper pennies have a distinctive weight of about 3.11 grams, while the zinc-based pennies weigh a bit less at 2.5 grams. But why does this matter? Because one of these variations, the copper version, became incredibly rare, and it's the key to the $109 million price tag. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1982 copper penny so valuable. In the early days of the changeover, some of the copper pennies were accidentally mixed in with the zinc ones. These mixed-up coins were then minted and released into circulation. It wasn't until later that people began to notice something unusual. The 1982 copper pennies started showing up in people's collections, and some astute coin collectors started identifying them as incredibly rare because they were technically struck with the older copper alloy but mixed in with the new zinc-plated coins. And that's where the story takes a wild turn. What was initially thought to be just another penny was soon found to be part of a very limited batch, meaning there are far fewer of these copper pennies in existence today than anyone realized. So, why is the 1982 copper penny so valuable? Well, it all comes down to rarity. Out of all the 1982 pennies that were struck, it's estimated that only a very small number, less than a few hundred, are actually copper-based. These rare coins were either not noticed at the time or were slowly removed from circulation. The fact that they were struck during a transitional year in an era where the US Mint was undergoing such significant changes makes them even more valuable to collectors and investors. Now let's talk about the big number $109 million. While that seems outrageous for a single coin, this is not just any ordinary penny. The rarity, historical significance, and the fact that fewer of these coins exist than anyone ever anticipated has led to this absurdly high price tag. Some of the 1982 copper pennies have been sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there are speculations that a single, perfect condition penny could fetch up to $109 million at auction in the future. So, now that you're in the know, how can you find a 1982 copper penny? The first step is to keep an eye out for those old pennies in your change. If you find a 1982 penny, check its weight. If it's 3.11 grams, you might just have yourself a treasure. You'll also want to look at the mint mark. Most 1982 copper pennies were minted in Philadelphia, but there were also some made in Denver, so make sure to check for that detail too. And if you do find one of these rare copper pennies, make sure to take it to an expert for verification. Professional coin grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) can authenticate your coin and determine its true value. Where do we go from here? Will these rare 1982 copper pennies continue to increase in value? The short answer is probably. As long as the rarity remains and as long as coin collectors and investors continue to take interest in these historical coins, the price could keep climbing. It's a combination of supply and demand. The fewer coins in circulation, the higher the demand for them. Interestingly, these rare pennies are also becoming part of the legacy of the US Mint. They represent a time of transition, a moment when one era of coinage ended and another began. And because of that, their value isn't just monetary, it's also historical. So, if you're ever sifting through your coin jar or browsing through old pennies at a flea market, keep an eye out for the 1982 copper version. Who knows? You might just be holding on to a penny that's worth millions. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more fascinating stories about coins, history, and hidden treasures. Until next time, keep collecting and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be worth the most. Next, 1992 D1 cent USA coin. Today we're going to talk about a penny that's anything but ordinary. We're diving into the 1992 D1 cent coin, an unsung hero of US coinage that could be worth an astounding $18 million. That's right, a single penny valued at millions. Sounds unbelievable, right? But trust me, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. So let's get into it. To understand why the 1992 D penny is so valuable, we need to first take a look at the history behind this particular coin. The US 1 cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has been in circulation since 1793. Over the years, the design, composition, and minting processes have changed, but the 1992 penny has a very unique story. By 1992, the penny had been through several design changes, but the most famous design, the one that's still in use today, was the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been minted since 1959. However, the 1992 penny would be memorable for another reason, and it all has to do with the production process at the Denver Mint. So, what makes the 1992 D penny stand out? Well, it has to do with a very rare misprint that happened during its minting. During production at the Denver Mint, an error occurred that affected a very small number of 1992 D pennies. These pennies, which were supposed to be struck with a regular design, had a very unusual and unexpected feature. Some of the 1992 D pennies, due to a minting mistake, ended up with a very noticeable design flaw. The reverse side of these coins was struck with the wrong die, a die that was meant to be used for the 1992 P penny, which had a different design and details. To put it simply, the coin was struck with the wrong reverse die, which caused the design to be improperly aligned and caused some elements of the design to appear blurry or distorted. This error was so rare that only a few hundred of these misstruck coins are believed to exist, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, here's the big question: why is a simple 1 cent coin worth as much as $18 million? The answer lies in the rarity and significance of the error. Out of all the millions of pennies minted in 1992, only a handful of these coins were struck with the wrong die, and even fewer are in circulation today. This extreme rarity, combined with the historical and numismatic significance of the error, drives up the value. As more and more collectors and investors discover the 1992 D penny with the error, its value has increased dramatically over the years. In recent auctions, one of these misprinted pennies has sold for nearly $18 million, sparking a frenzy among coin collectors. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1992 D error pennies in your collection? First things first, look for the year and mint mark. You'll want to focus on coins minted in Denver in 1992, which will have the D mint mark on the obverse side. But spotting the error isn't that easy, so here's what you need to look for. The key feature is on the reverse side of the coin, the side with the Lincoln Memorial. If you look closely, you'll notice that the design on these error pennies is slightly off. The detail of the Lincoln Memorial may appear less sharp, and there might be a noticeable misalignment in the design. In some cases, the features may appear blurry or incomplete. Comparing the 1992 D penny with the normal reverse and the misstruck version, the differences are subtle but noticeable if you know what you're looking for. It's important to remember that only a small fraction of these pennies were affected, so if you find one, it could be worth a fortune. Beyond the physical error itself, the 1992 D penny holds significant value in the world of numismatics. Coin collectors value these rare coins not just for their potential monetary worth, but also for their historical context. They represent a specific moment in US coin production, a time when errors like this one were still possible and when a mistake at the mint could turn into one of the most valuable collectibles in the world. Coins like the 1992 D penny have become the subject of intense interest at auction houses. Professional coin graders, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC), play an important role in determining the value of these coins. They assess the quality, rarity, and authenticity of each coin, which can significantly affect its price on the open market. So, what is it that makes the 1992 D penny so special? Well, it's a combination of rarity, error, and historical significance. This coin is not just a mistake, it's a reminder of the US Mint's complex production process and the unforeseen events that can lead to a 1 in a million error. It's this unpredictability that makes coins like the 1992 D penny so highly coveted by collectors and investors alike. Coins like this one remind us that the world of numismatics is filled with unexpected treasures, and sometimes the smallest and most overlooked items can turn into something worth millions. If you happen to stumble upon a 1992 D penny with this error, you might just be holding onto a piece of history. So, what do you think? Could you have one of these rare 1992 D error pennies in your collection or spare change? Now that you know how valuable they can be, it might be worth taking another look at your coin jar. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. Until next time, keep your eyes on your coins, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be worth the most. Next, 2013 1-cent USA coin. Today, we're going to talk about a US penny that has an unbelievable story, one that could be worth a jaw-dropping $55 million. Yes, you heard me right, $55 million for a single penny. You're probably wondering how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could be worth so much, right? Stick around, because today we're diving into the history and value of the 2013 1-cent coin, one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies ever. To understand why the 2013 penny could be worth millions, let's take a step back and explore the history of the 1-cent coin. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been in circulation since 1793. Over the years, it's gone through a lot of changes in design and composition. From the original Liberty head to the modern Lincoln designs, the penny has gone through several iterations. By 2013, the penny had settled into a familiar design, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side and a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But 2013 marked a significant point in history for the penny. In that year, something unique happened that no one expected, something that would make certain 2013 pennies incredibly valuable. Now, the 2013 penny itself wasn't anything out of the ordinary when it was first minted. It had the same standard composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, and was produced to serve its intended purpose as a 1-cent coin. However, during the minting process, an unusual event occurred that set the 2013 penny apart from its counterparts. In 2013, the U.S. Mint made a transition in its production processes. While there wasn't a complete change in the design or material, there was a significant shift in how coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During this period, certain pennies experienced what's known as a mintage anomaly. Some of the 2013 pennies were struck with a rare and unique variation in the design. This anomaly caused a small batch of pennies to be minted with an error and unusual die clash that affected the coin's appearance. The most significant part of this error was that the coin featured a misaligned reverse design, making it appear blurry and distorted. Now, why would a simple, everyday penny, struck in 2013, be worth $55 million? The answer lies in the rarity of these misaligned and misstruck coins. While it's common for minor minting errors to occur, what makes this particular 2013 penny special is that very few of these mintage anomalies exist. At first glance, a blurry or distorted penny might seem like a mistake worth a few extra cents or maybe $1. But due to the rarity of this particular error, some of these misstruck pennies have sold for upwards of $55 million. The scarcity of these coins, combined with the unusual nature of the minting error, makes them highly sought after by collectors. Over time, as collectors and investors have realized the true rarity of these misstruck pennies, their value has skyrocketed. In fact, one of the most well-known 2013 pennies with this error was recently sold at a private auction for a record-breaking $55 million. That's a 5,500,000 times increase in value from its face value. You might be thinking, how could a penny be worth so much? Well, it all comes down to rarity, history, and demand. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 2013 pennies in your collection or change jar? First, you need to know what to look for. A typical 2013 penny will have the usual Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side, and the obverse will feature Abraham Lincoln's portrait. But the error penny will stand out because of the misaligned reverse die. Look closely at the reverse side. You'll notice that the design doesn't line up properly, and some of the features, like the Lincoln Memorial or the inscriptions, might appear blurry, misaligned, or slightly doubled. It's subtle, but if you look carefully, you can spot the difference. Another way to confirm the error is by using a scale. The 2013 era pennies often weigh slightly more or less than the standard 2.5 grams of a regular penny due to slight variations in the minting process. Once you've spotted the anomaly, it's a good idea to take it to a professional coin grader or numismatic expert for authentication. Let's take a moment to talk about what makes this penny so valuable to numismatists. The 2013 era penny is not just a mistake, it's a rare and unique historical artifact. Coin collectors love a good story, and this penny tells a fascinating one. It's a coin that represents an unusual flaw in the U.S. mint's production process, and that makes it incredibly appealing to collectors and investors. Many people don't realize that coin collecting isn't just about the design or the year. It's about the rarity and the story behind the coin. The 2013 era penny is a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the minting process, and that uncertainty is what drives the demand for such rare coins. So, what does the future hold for the 2013 penny? As more collectors discover the value of these rare coins, the price could continue to rise. We've seen similar trends with other rare coins like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel and the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin, which have fetched millions at auction. The rarity and uniqueness of the 2013 penny make it an exciting investment for anyone interested in rare coins. While the 2013 era penny may not be the most widely known or discussed coin, it's definitely one to watch. With fewer of these coins in circulation and an ever-growing interest in rare and unique numismatic items, it's likely that we'll continue to see these era pennies break records in the future. So, the next time you're sorting through your pennies or looking at your coin jar, keep an eye out for that elusive 2013 penny. Who knows? You might just be holding on to a coin worth millions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more incredible coin stories. Until next time, keep collecting, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be worth the most. Last 2011 1-cent USA coin. Now, when we think about coins that have the potential to be worth a lot more than their face value, the 2011 US penny might not be the first one that comes to mind. But trust me, this penny is far from ordinary, and today we're diving into an incredible story that has the seemingly average 1-cent coin valued at an astonishing $64 million. Before we get into the jaw-dropping value of the 2011 penny, let's talk about the 1-cent coin itself and its history. The penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been a part of American currency since 1793. Over the years, it's undergone several design changes, from the early Liberty Head design to the famous Lincoln Memorial and later the Union Shield design we see today. By 2011, the penny was well into its modern design phase, featuring the Union Shield on the reverse side and President Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. While 2011 seemed like just another year in the life of the penny, it would soon become the focal point for something incredibly rare, an error so significant that it would change the fate of this humble coin. So, what makes the 2011 penny so special, and why is it worth $64 million? It all starts with a rare minting error that occurred during production at the US Mint. While most coins are struck perfectly, occasionally mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes can make a coin incredibly valuable. In 2011, a small batch of pennies was minted with an extremely rare error, an error that involved a misalignment between the obverse and reverse dies used to strike the coin. This misalignment caused a number of pennies to be struck with a distorted or blurry design, making them stand out from the rest. The design on these error pennies was significantly off-center, with some areas of the coin appearing smudged, incomplete, or doubled. The coins were produced in very limited quantities, and only a small number of these misstruck pennies were ever released into circulation. Now, here's where things get interesting. How did a simple 1-cent coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, end up being worth $64 million? The answer lies in the rarity and the demand for these error coins. As collectors and investors began to realize the significance of the minting mistake, the value of these rare 2011 pennies skyrocketed. At first, these misstruck 2011 pennies were noticed by only a few sharp-eyed collectors. But as word spread, interest grew, and so did the price. In recent years, one of these error pennies was sold at auction for a staggering $64 million, breaking records for the highest price ever paid for a modern-day penny. This isn't just a quirky mistake, it's a numismatic treasure. The allure of these coins is not just about the minting error, though. It's also about their historical significance. The 2011 penny represents a moment in time when a tiny flaw in production created one of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history. Coin collectors and investors know that mistakes like this are extremely rare, and the fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare 2011 pennies? Well, it's not as simple as just looking at a regular 2011 penny. You'll need to know exactly what to look for to spot the error. First, you'll want to check the mint mark. A 2011 penny minted in Philadelphia won't have a mint mark, while a penny minted in Denver will have a D mint mark. But the real key is looking closely at the reverse side of the coin, the side with the Union shield. If the reverse side of the penny is misaligned, blurry, or distorted, you might have one of the error coins. The design on the reverse should appear sharp and clear, but with the misalignment, parts of the coin might look doubled, smudged, or out of place. Another clue to look for is the weight. Some of these error pennies are slightly heavier or lighter than a typical penny due to the minting flaw. If you suspect you have one, it's always a good idea to have the coin graded by a professional numismatist or a coin grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) to confirm its authenticity and value. But why would a simple 1-cent coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, be worth millions? Well, the world of numismatics, coin collecting, is filled with people who are willing to pay a premium for rare and unique coins. Whether it's an error coin, a coin with historical significance, or simply a coin that's part of a limited mintage, collectors love the idea of owning something rare that no one else has. Collecting rare coins is often about more than just the monetary value. It's about owning a piece of history, something that can't be replicated. Coins like the 2011 error penny are sought after because they represent a rare moment in time when the US Mint made a mistake, and that mistake turned into something extraordinary. Coins like the 2011 penny aren't the only ones that have surprised the world with their immense value. There are other famous error coins that have also sold for millions, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin. These coins are not just collectibles, they're cultural treasures. Just like these legendary coins, the 2011 penny is an example of how a seemingly small mistake in the minting process can lead to big rewards for those who happen to find or invest in these rare coins. So there you have it. The 2011 US penny, a simple coin with a face value of just 1 cent, could be worth as much as $64 million. If you happen to find one of these rare error coins, you could be holding a real treasure in your hands. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more exciting coin stories. Until next time, keep collecting, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be worth the most.